So our third type of ADR, conciliation. What is conciliation? Well, it's very similar to mediation, but this third party that's carrying the offers backwards and forwards plays a much more active role in suggesting a solution. So the conciliator discusses the issues with both parties and they actually suggest a ground for compromise. So they will say, look, why don't we try this? And then they will go backwards and forwards between the parties trying to get a compromise solution so that there is a settlement. In industrial disputes, you can contact ACAS, the Advisory, Conciliation and Arbitration Service, very catchy title, and they can give legal advice which is impartial. So, good things about conciliation. Again, it avoids all the problems of the civil courts. So it's much quicker than going to court. It avoids the aggressive adversarial nature of court. It's not as formal as court. You're not wearing the wigs, so it's less intimidating for the parties. The next advantage, the parties are in control. They can withdraw at any time. If they're not happy, it's not binding and they can go to court. Another main advantage, one of the other advantages, is it does encourage parties to be on good terms. And there's a much more active role being played by the conciliator. So you are much more likely to actually reach a solution and avoid the court process. However, because it's not binding, disadvantage is that the parties could choose not to accept the decision. They may go back on their word and it could end up in a court case, which then lengthens the time needed to resolve this dispute and it increases the costs. Another disadvantage, it always relies upon the conciliator being trained and skilled at negotiating. If they're not very good, they're not going to be able to suggest an appropriate settlement. And always bear in mind with ADRs is that the amounts paid in a settlement out of court are usually lower than if the parties are in court. So they have to gamble and work out, do you accept a lower settlement and you get that money, or do you risk it and go to court? Because when you go to court, you could lose and end up paying the other party's costs.